Good evening. We are under the light. Good evening. We are under the lights at the Emirates for Newcastle versus Arsenal today. And the teams are already in the tunnel, and Arsenal desperately need a win today to keep the pressure on Manchester City and Liverpool. A home game against Newcastle. They lost the first game at St James's Park. Newcastle can do the double over today for the first time since the 1994-95 season. For Newcastle, well, they've been pretty inconsistent since the second half of the season and going out of Europe. They're only one game over 500. And they are sitting in 8th place, but can move one place higher tonight over Brighton if they can beat Arsenal today. Well, we'll take a look at the starting lineups. Looking first of all at Arsenal, who make just one change. Jorginho is in for Leandro Trossard. That is the only change from the 1-0 Champions League defeat to FC Porto. They line up as follows, with Mikel Arteta as the manager, David Raya in goal, Jacob Kiwior, Gabriel, William Saliba, Ben White are the back four. The three in the middle are Jorginho, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, the captain, with Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka leading the line. For Newcastle, well, they're making 3 changes, and the first most obvious one is in the goalkeeping department. Martin Dubravka fell ill yesterday, so Loris Karius deputises in goal. Dan Burn drops to the bench and Tino Livramento moves in. And with some doubt over leading scorer Alexander Isak, he actually does play today, and he replaces Harvey Barnes. So Newcastle United line up as follows. Eddie Howe is the manager, Loris Karius is the goalkeeper, Tino Livramento, Sven Botman, Fabian Shaw and Kieran Trippier is the captain. And Lewis Miley, Bruno Guimaraes and Sean Longstaff are the 3 across the middle, with Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak and Mikel Almiron as the front 3. Substitutes for Arsenal, they have Aaron Ramsdale, Cedric Suarez, Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Mohamed El Neni, Gabriel Jesus, almost made the starting lineup, so just not quite ready. He stays on the bench. Eddie Nketiah, Leandro Trossard and Reece Nelson. For Newcastle, Mark Gillespie, Jamal Lascelles, Emil Kraft, Lewis Hall, Dan Burn, Matt Ritchie, Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy and Joe Willock, who again just manages to make it back today. Our referee today is Paul Tierney from Wigan in Lancashire. And Paul was promoted to the select Group 1 referees in August 2014. The highlight of his career thus far has been officiating the 2023 FA Cup final. He's taken charge of Arsenal twice this season. However, this is the first time he's taking charge of Newcastle today, this season. And he's joined on the lines by Neil Davis and Nick Hopton. Anthony Taylor is our 4th official today, with Peter Banks and Lee Betts in VAR. This is the 193rd meeting between the two teams. Arsenal having won 84, there's been 39 draws, and Newcastle has won 69. September the 1st, 1893 was when the two teams first met, which was a 2-2 draw between Woolwich Arsenal and Newcastle United. And that was at the Manor Ground, attended by 6,000 people. Some interesting news articles from 1893. Mahatma Gandhi's first act of civil disobedience was on June the 7th. And on June the 20th, Lizzie Borden was acquitted of the 1892 axe murders of her father and stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts. As there is Mikel Arteta as the team's gathering now at the centre circle. We are almost ready to go. Massive game for Arsenal, this one. A must win if they want to keep the pressure on Manchester City at the top of the table, with Manchester City getting a victory today against Bournemouth. And you can see the Arsenal fans there. Well, they are in fine voice. In the league, Arsenal has just been so impressive in the league, with more recently the 5-0 victory over Burnley. And Arsenal about to get get the game underway here. And Declan Rice gets the game underway as Arsenal wearing their red and white jersey. White stripes with black shorts and black socks. And here's Kai Havertz down the left. He gets the cross in, but it goes off Fabian Schär and goes out for the first corner of the game after just 20 seconds as Arsenal piling on the pressure on Newcastle, attacking the goal where those Newcastle fans are housed behind the goal. And it's going to be Declan Rice that's going to swing this corner in. His goalkeeper, Loris Karius, are going to put him under pressure early. As it's swung in by Declan Rice, the heads go up and it's just headed up into the air there. And back with Declan Rice, he tries to get the cross in, but that is a fine challenge by Miguel Almiron. And it's going to be another corner for Arsenal. They'll be pressured by the Gunners here at the Emirates Stadium. Under the lights, it is absolutely filled tonight. What an atmosphere. And now Declan Rice is going to take this corner. He in swings it again. Flicked on by Ben White. And the ball comes back to the edge of the area. Now to Bukayo Saka with a shot. But it is way over the crossbar. And it's a goal kick. A minute and 20 seconds gone here. And Newcastle, in numbers, push back, defending against the Arsenal. And if they want to come out with a double victory over Arsenal tonight, they are going to have to be at their very best. If you look at Bukayo Saka there, just getting the shot in. Livramento just gets a touch forward, but it's picked up by Ben White. And he's got the ball now and slips it to Bukayo Saka. Laid off by Martin Odegaard. Back to Saka. That's a fine challenge there by Lewis Miley. And here's Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon now just turns and plays the ball forward to Miley again. But that is a good challenge by Jorginho. And the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a throw-in midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. And Lewis Miley just, it looks like he's, or is it going to be Livramento? Yes, it is Timo Livramento that's going to take this throw-in for the Magpies. And Livramento takes it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Loris Karius. The Karius today, well, the most important thing for him is he doesn't want to concede an early goal. And already the ball has been given away by Fabian Schär to Kai Havertz. And coming back and helping there is Sean Longstaff. And Havertz collides with Longstaff, and the referee, Paul Tierney, has given a free kick for the foul on Fabian Schär. There wasn't really an awful lot in that, I have to be honest. 3 minutes gone here, 0-0. Fabian Schär, long-time servant of Newcastle United. What a player he's been. And he's been part of that stellar defence from last season. And I think a lot of what can be said of Newcastle's defence, which has really slipped this season, could be due to the loss of Nick Pope in goal. Here's Bukayo Saka. Tries to bring the ball down, but he's not been able to. Bruno Guimaraes picked up the ball, although he's alleged to have handled it, according to Paul Tierney. And the free kick will be taken around about inside the centre circle, just inside the Newcastle half of the field. It's taken quickly by Jorginho, looking for Kai Havertz. Good work again by Fabian Schär. And Martin Odegaard nicks in and gets a chest on that and drops it down to Jorginho. Jorginho gives it back to Gabriel. And Gabriel drops the ball here to Jakub Kyria. Kyria plays the ball forward there to Havertz, and Kyria now picks up the ball again. It's now with Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli drives a very ambitious ball looking for Bukayo Saka, and it's comfortably won by Tino Livramento. And here is Anthony Gordon now for the two. Anthony Gordon drops it back to Bruno Guimaraes, who gives it back to Botman, and Botman plays it across to Fabian Schär. Back again to Botman. And back again to Schär. He plays the ball forward here to Longstaff. And it's dropped back here to Kieran Trippier, who plays the ball forward. Oh, that's a fine challenge there by Gabriel, and Arsenal win the ball back, and they're coming forward now with Kai Havertz. And he drops the ball to Jorginho, and it goes to Martin Odegaard. Plays it down the right-hand side to Ben White, and Ben White tries to lift the ball over Livramento's head to Bukayo Saka. It just didn't make it, but Martin Odegaard comes in and makes the challenge again on Livramento, and it's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle United. There's Bruno Guimaraes. He's a vital player in this pod for Newcastle United. His performances this season have been quite outstanding, it has to be said. 3 goals and 6 assists this season for the Brazilian. And the ball goes behind for a goal kick, and Eddie Howe. Well, there's a lot of pressure on him, Newcastle, with the money that they've had and the players that they've got in the team, was perhaps expecting a little higher league position than this. And certainly they have been not far from consistent since going out of Europe. And here's Martinelli. Martinelli plays the ball back to Jorginho. Jorginho holds the ball up, flipped through to Kai Havertz. He gives the ball to Martinelli, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Martinelli swings the ball in, the heads go up, but Botman gets up there with a header. It drops down here to the number 4, Ben White. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard trying to line up a shot. Oh, he tried to play the pass to Martinelli, but an uncharacteristically disappointing pass by Odegaard. And now here's Livramento. Oh, he's brought down by Martin Odegaard that time, and the Arsenal captain will go into the book. It was a very late challenge. You can actually see the ball here, the back heel. It's actually to Miguel Almiron, and I must apologise if I get some of these names wrong, because the numbers on the back of these Newcastle shirts are very, very difficult to read, but I will do my best for you. So with 7 minutes gone, the first yellow card of the game goes to Arsenal and Martin Odegaard. Livramento just touches the ball out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. And it's going to be Ben White to take it. Ben White just drops it back into his own half and finds William Saliba. Saliba gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice drops the ball back to Jorginho, and it goes back to David Ray, who slicks the ball there to Declan Rice. He gives the ball to Jorginho. Now it's Jakub Kiwior. Kiwior plays the ball forward, and he finds Gabriel Martinelli. In front of him is Kieran Trippier. Gabriel Martinelli, he ran the ball out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle. Well, the game at St James's Park did produce some controversy. A goal that may have gone out and even may have been a foul in the build-up was given by VAR, and that was a difference for the two teams that day. Here's Declan Rice. He finds Bukayo Saka. Saka with a shot. But that is a good save by Lloris Karius there. Just flung to his left. That'll do him a little bit of confidence early on. He hasn't played a lot for Newcastle. This is his first appearance in the Premier League this season. Just flung across and made that save. His career really never been able to recover from that Champions League disaster for Liverpool against Real Madrid. And sometimes mistakes just follow you around throughout your career, and unfortunately for him, that was just one of them. And it's now back with David Raya, and David Raya clears the ball downfield, and out of play it goes, and Tino Livramento will now take the throw-in for Newcastle. And Eddie Howe looking relaxed, confident that his Newcastle side, who are really pressing for a European place, a Conference League place or a Europa League place, are definitely within their grasp. But they do need to start stringing wins together and being a little bit more consistent. Here's Martin Odegaard. He heads the ball down, but that's cleared away by Trippier. Only as far as Gabriel. He heads the ball, but nipping in there is Miguel Almiron. Almiron drops it back to Fabian Schär. Trippier gives the ball away to Rice. And now here's Odegaard. Odegaard, he tries to slip the ball through to Kai Havertz, but there was just too much weight on that. That's 2 or 3 passes Odegaard now has put in the wrong place. And that's most unlike him. He's holding almost a 90% passing accuracy rate. And to be honest with you, the start for Odegaard, he looked a bit shaky at the start. Here's Bukayo Saka. Saka just does a quick 1-2, and Odegaard flicks it through to Declan Rice. Rice with a chance. Good save. He almost hit it at Karius, but the goalkeeper made a smart save. And the throw-in is taken quickly by Arsenal. They're playing the game at pace. And here's Bukayo Saka just trying to come in, but good work by Sven Botman. Just gets across there, but Bukayo Saka is in fact offside. And it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. And, well, it's going to be taken by Karius. It's just inside his own penalty area here by a few yards. He's going to launch the ball on field now. And it goes down that left-hand side towards Anthony Gordon, but it escapes Anthony Gordon and goes out of play and will be a throw-in for the Arsenal. And it's going to be taken by Ben White. Well, Ben White is now just receiving some instructions from Mikel Arteta. In fact, it's a free kick that's actually been given. I guess Anthony Gordon must have impeded Ben White. But Ben White takes a free kick quickly and drops it back to the goalkeeper with Alexander Isak closing in. Alexander Isak nearly just nipped the ball ahead of David Raya there, and Arsenal just being pressed here. Jacob Kiwior is unable to get the ball away, but Jorginho clears it, and Martinelli just picks up the ball there. And is there a foul there? Surely there's a foul. Miguel Almiron there has committed the foul. And the free kick is taken quickly, and he finds Declan Rice, and Arsenal now moving forward once again. Declan Rice gives the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho back to Declan Rice, overlapping is Gabriel Martinelli. Can Martinelli deliver the goods here? He gets towards the penalty area, left-hand side. Gives the ball to Jorginho. He lifts the ball into the penalty area, but it's cleared away by Sven Botman. Jorginho wins a header, and Fabian Schär hacks that ball away. Anthony Gordon nods the ball up into the air, and it's brought down here by Ben White. And Jorginho slips the ball to Gabriel, who gives it to Martin Odegaard. Got a bit of space in front of Odegaard. He finds Saka down the right-hand side. Saka back to Odegaard. Odegaard attempted a shot, but that was a really good block by Lewis Miley. And Jorginho wins the ball and just drops it back to Gabriel. And here's Jacob Kiwior. Plays the ball to Martinelli. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Arsenal continue to pile the pressure on this Newcastle defence. Here's Ben White looking to get the cross, and he just pulls back and gives the ball back to Odegaard. Odegaard lifts the ball in, looking for Martinelli with a header, but that is very easy for Karius. Not enough power on there by Martinelli by any stretch of the imagination. But Arsenal being very creative in their build-up here, and have certainly looked the more forward team in this first 12 minutes. And you are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's player of the match is sponsored on the Hub by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. And don't forget you can follow us on also Focus on Football. And don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1. And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Commentary Hub, as Mikel Arteta is just giving some instructions there. Kieran Trippier is now back on his feet, just moving a little gingerly. Hopefully for him it's just an impact knock, as Luis Karius plays the ball downfield, but that is won by Gabriel. He's giving it to Martinelli, and Martinelli goes back to Gabriel. And here's William Saliba now. Approaching the halfway line, he gives the ball to Jorginho. Just looking for options, Jorginho. He's round on the halfway line. Gives the ball back to William Saliba. Back to Jorginho, just over the halfway line. Arsenal, patient build-up. Good ball down the right-hand side there by Saliba to Bukayo Saka. He drops it back to Ben White in the middle of the park. Ben White just drops back into his own half. And Saliba again gives it back to Gabriel. He's midway inside his own half of the field here, Gabriel. Plays the ball forward. And he gets it back. At the moment, Arsenal, very patient build-up. This is very typical of Arsenal. Just to patiently build up and look to find holes inside that Newcastle defence. And here's Bukayo Saka. And it's Ben White. Gives the ball into the middle of the park to Jorginho. Over the halfway line now, Jorginho. He's got options left and right. He decides to give it to Ben White. And he plays it down the right flank to Bukayo Saka. He's got 3 players around him as Saka. Well, he's got 12 goals this season, Bukayo Saka. Newcastle will need to watch him. It's back with Ben White just over the halfway line. Ben White now. It's going to go long towards Martinelli. That's a very ambitious ball. Kieran Trippier heads that ball out, but only as far as Jacob Kiwior. Gabriel Martinelli does have the ball now, corner of the penalty area. He gives it to Jorginho. Jorginho drops the ball now back to Gabriel. Jorginho again, back to Martinelli, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Good ball by Martinelli to Kiwior. Can Kiwior get the crossing? He decides to pull it back to Martinelli again. Arsenal just waiting to get the crossing, looking for the perfect ball. Here's Jorginho again, gives the ball again to Kiwior. Back to Gabriel, back to Jorginho. And he plays the ball through to Martinelli. Martinelli getting inside the defence there, but that's a good challenge. And it falls out to Rice again on the far left-hand side. And it's Jorginho again. Jorginho back to Ben White, who drops it back now to William Saliba. Arsenal have had possession for a long time here. Jorginho gives the ball to to Martin Odegaard. He gives the ball to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka moves into the middle of the park. He's midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. Just looking for options available left and right. Kiwior decides to go there to William Saliba. Saliba down the right-hand side to Ben White. Back to Saliba. And it's Martin Odegaard now. Plays the ball through there to Kai Havertz. Havertz drops it back to Jorginho. Jorginho lifts the ball over the top looking for Bukayo Saka. But that's good work by Livramento, who knocked the ball behind for another Arsenal corner. 16 minutes gone here. It's Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. And the corner will be taken on the right-hand side. This is the fourth Arsenal corner. As Gabriel is in there. Havertz is in there. Kiwior is in there. Martinelli is in there. And Bukayo Saka will probably swing this one in. He's just looking at what options he has available. He just lifts the ball into the penalty area. There's the goal to Arsenal! It looks like it's Gabriel with the goal. He's claiming it. It's Gabriel, and Arsenal take a 1-goal lead after 17 minutes. And oh boy, has it been coming. Gabriel on 17 minutes. As he celebrates that one. And the cross came in, and first of all, the header by Gabriel, it was kept out. And then, this is probably going to go down as an own goal for Sven Botman. This is probably going to go down as an own goal for Sven Botman. The original header didn't cross the line. It was the second one that did off, I believe it was Botman. Yes, it was. It's Botman, and I think it's going to go down as a Botman own goal. I'm just going to see if I can get something a little bit more concrete on that, but to me that looks like it came off Botman last and into the net. And we'll just see if we can get it. I mean, Arsenal won't mind. It's 1-0 to Arsenal. It is. It's been given as a Sven Botman own goal. So the goal is not by Gabriel, but a 17th minute Sven Botman own goal. And here is Declan Rice. Rice drops the ball back to Gabriel Martinelli. And he gives the ball to Jorginho. Back to Martinelli as Arsenal comes hunting for a second goal here. And it's cleared now, but only as far as Declan Rice. Here's Jorginho. And that is a free kick to Arsenal for the foul on Jorginho, and it's taken quickly, and Paul Tierney's allowed it. Here is Declan Rice. He gives the ball to Martinelli. Martinelli pulls the ball across, and this time Beckman clears the ball out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. 19 minutes gone here. And here's Jorginho. He gives the ball to Martinelli. Martinelli and Arsenal have just been relentless in this first 20 minutes. Jorginho gives the ball to Gabriel, who thought he'd scored, but it is Sven Botman on goal. And there's Havertz. Back to Gabriel. And it's lifted over to Jakob Kiwior. Kiwior brings a cross in, but it's picked up by Botman. And here's Kieran Trippier over by the corner flag. He's under pressure from Kiwior. And it's one back from Kiwior, but he managed to find Martinelli, but Martinelli slipped. And it's cleared away now as far as Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak, now he's giving the ball away now. And Arsenal now with Kai Havertz. Tries to go inside the penalty area, but he's fouled Fabian Schär. And it will be a free kick to Newcastle United with 20 and a half minutes gone. And well, as we look at the goal decision again, the save there, and it was off the knee of Sven Botman. And you can see, if you're watching and following on with the commentary, that ball clearly crossed the line. If we do have any Newcastle fans or Arsenal fans in the chat, please feel free to drop your comments in. I'll read them out. Just please keep them nice and clean. We're a family show, no bad language, please. And free kick now to be taken, which Bruno Guimaraes is just standing over. He drops it back to Sven Botman. And Botman plays it to Longstaff. And back to Botman. Played forward looking for Alexander Isak. Good win back though by Jorginho, just sliding in and winning the ball back there. It's now with Martin Odegaard. Back to Jorginho, to Bukayo Saka. Overlapping on the right-hand side is Ben White. He crosses the ball in, looking for Kai Havertz, but that's good work by Sven Botman that time. And cleared away. And only as far though as Martin Odegaard. It's now back with Ben White and back to Saka. Back to Jorginho. He tries to go across to the corner of the penalty area on the left-hand side, but it's intercepted by Newcastle, and now they can try to break. But that move is broken down, and it's picked up by Gabriel, who goes back to David Raya. But Alexander Isak is closing in on him. He gives the ball to William Saliba. And Saliba drops it back to Ben White, who goes back to the goalkeeper. We've had 22 minutes gone here. It's Arsenal 1, Newcastle United 0. And Arsenal looking good value for their lead. Here's Martin Odegaard down the right-hand side, just over the halfway line. Drops the ball back to Saliba. And now to Jorginho. Cross to Gabriel. Gabriel inside the centre circle, just inside his own half of the field. He gives it back to Saliba again. And back to Gabriel. Gabriel gives the ball to Jorginho. And Jorginho back to... Jorginho got the ball back off Gabriel, I'm sorry. Here comes Bukayo Saka down the right-hand side and drops the ball to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard gives the ball to Jorginho. It's flicked on here, and here's Ben White with a chance. Oh, he really should have shot. It goes back to the edge of the area to Martinelli with a strike. And I think Botman just got his head on that. But my goodness me, it opened up for Ben White. He maybe should have struck that. Arsenal once again looking for the perfect chance, trying to walk the ball in the net. That's not what they want to do at this stage. It's now played over the top to Martinelli on the right-hand side. It's pulled across to the middle, and it's 2-0. And it's Kai Havertz who puts the ball under Loris Karius, and Arsenal are now 2 goals to the good. Well, no doubt about the finish there. That was just tucked away by the German international. And he's had a really good season for Arsenal this season. Well, they take a 2-goal lead. And Newcastle, well, they've got to be wondering what's happening. We'll just take a look at this again. It started off really with a really good ball from Jorginho. Jorginho lifted it over the top to Martinelli. Martinelli then pulled the ball across, and there was Kai Havertz. He was not marked, and that is very poor defending from Newcastle. As Martinelli cuts across, pulls the ball, dead centre on the edge of the 6-yard box was Kai Havertz, just to put that under Loris Karius to make it 2-0 to the Gunners, and Newcastle are very much on the ropes here. And 2-0. And Eddie Howe, well, he does not look very pleased there, does he? And well, he might, because that was really poor defending. And here's Jorginho. And he drops it back to Saliba, to Jorginho again. We've had 25 minutes gone here. It's Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0. As they go on the offensive again to Arsenal with Bukayo Saka. He drops it back to Jorginho. Jorginho back to Saka. And Saka goes back to Jorginho. And as Arsenal looking to pick holes in this Newcastle defence at will. And here's Saliba now. He drops the ball back there to Jorginho, who goes all the way back to David Raya. And Raya now has played the ball to Jorginho again. Under pressure by Anthony Gordon, he gives the ball to Ben White. Ben White drops the ball to Saliba, to Martinelli. And Arsenal now just keeping possession. I mean, look at this statistic. 18 touches in the Newcastle penalty area. None for Newcastle in the Arsenal penalty area. This has been a one-way traffic so far in this first half. As Fabian Schär just plays it back to the goalkeeper, Luis Karius. He would not have wanted to concede 2 goals so early in this game. And I just wonder how that's going to affect his confidence. And Martinelli wins the ball. Odegaard wins the ball back. He pulls it square there. Oh, capital challenge by Longstaff there. Oh my goodness me, that was nearly 2-0. Sorry, that was nearly 3-0. And what was Newcastle thinking here? Well, Fabian Schär had it this time. And he loses the ball to Odegaard. And Odegaard then just squares it. He might have been better shooting himself, but that is a good work by Fabian Schär. Otherwise, Kai Havertz would have had a second and it would have been a tapping into an empty net. Well, it's going to be a corner for Arsenal as a consequence of that. And it's Declan Rice who's going to take it. Well, Arsenal here. Swings the ball into the 6-yard box. Karius comes up and collects that one. And I think he's going to want to try to calm things down here. He just rolls the ball to Sven Botman, and he plays the ball forward here to Lewis Miley. Miley drops it down to Livramento. Livramento goes back to Botman. Now he's got Bruno Guimaraes alongside him, but I think is he going to go with Guimaraes? Botman, he's not quite sure what he's going to do. He plays the ball to Longstaff, who lays it off to Guimaraes. Quick passing by Newcastle. And here comes Miley. It's a good ball through there looking for Isak, but really good work by William Saliba tracking Alexander Isak. And that particular duel will be interesting to watch as the game goes on, because William Saliba will definitely have his hands full with Alexander Isak, who is a literal goal machine and is very dangerous from these situations. So here's Sven Botman. Botman just drops the ball there to Livramento. It's now with Anthony Gordon moving into the middle and plays the ball there to Botman again. Botman goes long, looking for Miguel Almiron. Brilliant there by Almiron. Brings the ball down, and it's Almiron swings the ball into the middle and just headed out. Good work by Ben White. Anthony Gordon was right behind him. It's also hacked away there by Bukayo Saka. Newcastle tried to win the ball back, but it's with Declan Rice right now. Declan Rice storming over the halfway line, down the left-hand side for Arsenal. It's now, well, Martinelli was unable to pick the ball up. It was a good challenge by Kieran Trippier, and it's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal, and it's taken quickly. And here is Jorginho. We've had 29 minutes gone here, and it's Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0. And it's been all Arsenal in this first half. They might very well add another couple with chances available, but they didn't take those. But Arsenal looking very impressive in this first half. And here's Gabriel. He gives the ball to Kiwior. Back to Gabriel. And he just drops it back there to Saliba, who gives it back to David Raya, who plays the ball long downfield. Chasing this one is Bukayo Saka, but there's Kai Havertz. And Karius comes out and gets on the end of that. That's smart goalkeeping. He read that pass through to Kai Havertz and was out to meet it. The throw-in is taken quickly, and it's Ben White. And he gives the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho drops the ball to Ben White. And, that's a challenge from behind by Guimaraes, and it's going to be a free kick. And he might well go into the referee's notebook here. He's receiving a warning, and it's free kick. He's not happy with it, but he needs to be quiet because this was a tackle from behind and it was a foul. And it's going to be a free kick for Arsenal. Bruno Guimaraes is pulling his socks up. His entire squad, his entire team needs to pull their socks up in this first half because they are being thoroughly manhandled by the Gunners tonight. And here's Jorginho. And he plays the ball down to Bukayo Saka. And it's back with Jorginho. Jorginho forward to Odegaard, down the right-hand side to Bukayo Saka. We're putting 3 men almost on Saka here, and he gets the ball back from Odegaard. Can Saka get across? Oh, it's a great crossing! Oh, and a header from Martinelli! But it goes over the crossbar. He's just not able to get his head over it. But that was another good chance for Arsenal. And the ball there to Odegaard, back heel to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka's cross. Oh, he just couldn't get his head over it. If he had got his head over it, he might have been able to divert it into the right-hand corner there, Gabriel Martinelli, but he was just not able to get any sort of direction, unfortunately for him. And you're listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports, Focus on Football and Storm FM. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Commentary Hub. 9 attempts on goal for Arsenal, 3 of them on target, none attempts for Newcastle at all, as Newcastle can now play on. It's a long ball forward, and chasing this one now is Longstaff. Oh, good work by David Raya, just pulls it away there from the Newcastle central midfielder. And Jorginho plays the ball forward to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard dropped Jorginho. Jorginho looking for options available. He just lifts the ball over to Jacob Kiwior there. And Kiwior plays the ball to Gabriel Martinelli. That's Newcastle attempting to put players on the likes of Martinelli and Saka, knowing how dangerous that they are. And here's Jorginho just over the halfway line now. He's got options left and right. He goes to Declan Rice. It's now to Kiwior. Kiwior plays it forward to Martinelli. Down the left. Now it's with Jorginho. Jorginho drops the ball back there to Gabriel. And Gabriel gives the ball back to Jorginho. It's just the two of them are just kind of passing the ball around together at the moment. Here's Gabriel now. He just plays the ball forward to Declan Rice. And Declan Rice sets Martinelli on his way. Can he get there? He pulls the cross in, and it's a challenge there by Fabian Schär, but they're saying that Martinelli had overrun that ball out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick for Newcastle. And I just need to take a drink of water. It's been kind of exciting, this game, in the first sort of 25 minutes, half an hour. It has all been Arsenal, but it's been good football to watch. And there is Bruno Guimaraes, and Guimaraes has conceded a corner. Well, he's played the ball back to Sven Botman, but it's gone out of play for a corner. And this is very typical of Newcastle in this first half so far. And Bukayo Saka is now going to take this corner on the right-hand side. We've got 11 minutes to go till half-time at the Emirates. Here is Odegaard. He gives the ball to Jorginho. Jorginho now plays it back to Odegaard. Odegaard tries to lift the ball into the middle. Good header away there by Guimaraes. And the ball is back again. And Livramento just tries to head the ball out. And, well, it's back with Jorginho just over the halfway line. He's just making some progress and looking for options. And I think part of the problem for Newcastle is they are standing off Arsenal. They're not putting any press on them whatsoever. And I have to wonder just how much of a smart move that is, because all it's doing is allowing Arsenal to play football and play very impressive football at that. The ball is played forward now, looking for Kai Havertz. Havertz has got Botman over with him. Havertz just drops the ball back to Martinelli, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. He gives the ball back to Jorginho, who launches the ball in the area looking for Havertz. It comes out to the edge of the area, and Martinelli strikes it over the crossbar. And Martinelli got his foot under that, and that ball went way out of there. And won't be pleased with that, Gabriel Martinelli. As Loris Karius now with the goal kick. Right-footed, downfield, and it's just over the halfway line, and the ball is headed down, and here is Almiron, and it's launched forward by Longstaff, looking for the chase in Alexander Isak, but cutting across well is Saliba, and he heads it to Kyria. Kyria just heads the ball looking for Declan Rice, but that ball goes out of play. It's going to be a throw into Newcastle, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. It's Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0. If you're just joining us, wherever you've been, you've missed some really, really good, exciting football. And they've been just basically been coming from Arsenal. It's just been fantastic football to watch. And here's Botman. He gives the ball to Livramento. Livramento to forward to Anthony Gordon, who's now under pressure from Ben White. Every time Newcastle get the ball, Arsenal players are just surrounding them. And Gordon is fouled this time, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. Well, Anthony Gordon gets on his feet, and Eddie Howe is just wondering now. I just wonder what he's going to say to his players at half-time, because this Arsenal performance is just so fantastic. And the ball is given away by Botman, and it's with Kai Havertz, and Havertz tries to launch the ball in the area. He gives the ball to Martinelli. Martinelli pulled back to Havertz. Oh, he just couldn't control it at the penalty area. Declan Rice, he gives the ball to Kyria. Back to Martinelli, corner in the penalty area. Left-hand side. He gives the ball to Declan Rice, to Jorginho. And Newcastle, well, they're the architects of their own downfall at the moment. That giveaway from Botman has just invited more Arsenal pressure. And it's Gabriel back to Jorginho, back to Gabriel. Kyria, Gabriel, and back with Kyria, and it's a nice ball to Martinelli, who lays it off to Declan Rice. Here's Martinelli again, skipping into the penalty area. Martinelli is looking for options available. The cross comes in, it comes back to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka is trying to bring the ball down. He's going to get a shot away with Saka, and a good save by the goalkeeper, Loris Karius. And he must be wondering what's hit him in this first half. That is a really good move by Bukayo Saka. He's surrounded there by three Newcastle players, but beats them and makes enough space for the shot. And it's a save at his front post by Loris Karius. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 0. It's another corner for Arsenal with 7 minutes to go till the break. At half-time, we will take a 15-minute break and we will be back for the second half. Here is the corner's coming in there, and it's just headed away. And as far as now, here's Miguel Almiron. He's surrounded by two Arsenal players there. And the ball is won back again now by Gabriel, who lifts the ball into the penalty area. It's cleared away by Guimaraes. And the ball is played forward to Alexander Isak. Isak was trying to set Miguel Almiron on his way, but a good interception. And the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. And what I'm seeing here from this Arsenal team is whenever Newcastle get the ball, they are all over them. They're all over them. And it's like they don't fall back defensively. They just win the ball back immediately. They're just all over Newcastle. I honestly did not think a game like this would be so one-sided. Here's Fabian Schär. Guimaraes now, just trying to get away here from Bukayo Saka. Saka is fouled Guimaraes there, and it's going to be a free kick. And Arsenal, Newcastle can be made to take that free kick. It's not taken from the right position, but it doesn't really matter. Here's Botman. He gives the ball to Fabian Schär, and Fabian Schär's passing with a hospital pass. Nobody warned him that behind him was Declan Rice, and Newcastle nearly gave the ball away again there. And now it's headed back to the goalkeeper, Loris Karius, by Fabian Schär. And Bruno Guimaraes is down now, and he looks in a lot of pain. And Paul Tierney is calling on the physio as Bruno Guimaraes is just getting to his feet. And now Paul Tierney is going over to talk to Eddie Howe. And fourth official Anthony Taylor, it looks like he's warning them. And the referee just looks like he's speaking to the Newcastle physio. He was about ready to come on, and I thought Paul Tierney had signalled him to come on, to be honest, but in the end he never did. But Bruno Guimaraes is on his feet, and it's back with Loris Karius now, who's going to launch the ball downfield. It's been a fairly free-flowing first half. I really don't see there being too much stoppage time at the end of this first half. Here's Botman. And he's just looking for options now, Botman, and he just plays the ball there to Longstaff, and it's now back with Fabian Schär, who clears the ball forward to Alexander Isak, and the ball goes out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in, which is going to be taken by, you can just see who that is on the far side. It looks like Kieran Trippier. And Trippier is going to take this throw-in. And he throws the ball towards back, all the way back really to Fabian Schär. It's now with the goalkeeper Loris Karius, who launches the ball downfield. But that's comfortably won by Ben White, who heads it down to Bukayo Saka. Livramento around him, along with two other Newcastle players, Anthony Gordon and Lewis Miley, were all surrounding Bukayo Saka there. It goes right back to David Raya, who plays the ball downfield. That's a good header by Botman. But it's only found Bukayo Saka now. And Saka's got options left and right. He drops the ball there to Jorginho, who gives the ball to Declan Rice. Rice has got Martinelli on the left-hand side. Martinelli, corner of the penalty area, he drops the ball back. And it's now with Gabriel now to Jorginho. Jorginho plays the ball forward, and it's a chance now for Gabriel. Inside to Odegaard. Odegaard to Bukayo Saka. Crossing towards the back post. It's headed down by Rice. Can Kai Havertz turn? Goes back to Rice. And a good save, but the official has seen something. Looks like it's a flag there. And it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. So it all comes to naught there for Arsenal, who very well could have been 5 up at this point. Lewis Carey has had to make a few smart saves in this first half himself. 12 attempts, 4 on target. The chances that Arsenal have had in this first half, but 2-0, it's a funny lead, we all know that. The game's never over at 2-0 at this stage, but Newcastle are going to have to wake up and are going to have to start creating some things. Here's Guimaraes, and he gives the ball to Longstaff. Longstaff plays the ball forward, and it's through now to Almiron. Real chance for Almiron. Oh, he tried to put the ball through the legs of David Raya, but it didn't work. And the goalkeeper makes a save, but that's the first real chance for Newcastle in this entire first half. And it's now back with Gabriel. He gives it to Declan Rice. Declan Rice back to Jorginho. Jorginho. And he goes back there to William Saliba. And Saliba gives it to Ben White down the right-hand side. Here's Martinelli. Gives it to Bukayo Saka. And he is in an offside position. And it is going to be a free kick to Newcastle as we go into the last 90 seconds of this first half at the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0. And it's the free kick is going to be taken by Ben Botman. Scored the first goal, known goal. And Kai Havertz adding the second. To give Arsenal a commanding lead at the moment. Trippier drop back to Longstaff, who plays the ball forward, looking for Alexander Isak, but that was so well read by David Raya. Came out and got there before Isak did and put the ball out of play for a throw-in to Newcastle. It's almost on the halfway line. Here's Fabian Schär. Gives the ball to Botman. Botman to Livramento. Livramento, and here's Bruno Guimaraes, I should say. Guimaraes. Just gives the ball there to Trippier. Trippier plays it long, and here's an opportunity now for Almiron, I should say, but once again read that so well, came out and made the challenge, and the ball goes out of play for a throw into Newcastle United. It's taken quickly. Here's Miley, gives the ball to Gimaresh. Gimaresh, back to Livramento, to Gordon down the left-hand side. Newcastle looking to get something now before half-time. Gordon plays the ball there to Gimaresh. Gimaresh launches the ball into the penalty area. It's headed out by Martinelli, and it's laid off by Miley. And here's Gimaresh, who tries to beat two players, but the ball is won back there by Jorginho. His clearance only finds Livramento, though. And it's Gimaresh again. He drops the ball back into his own half of the field to Botman. He gives the ball to Fabian Schär. It's a long ball down the left-hand side. Brilliant ball to Anthony Gordon. And now Anthony Gordon can swing the cross in, but Bukayo Saka gets a good block in there, and it rolls almost, well, in fact, all the way back into the Newcastle half of the field, and they will have to start again. And here's Botman. He drops the ball back to Karius, and now the ball is with Fabian Schär, and he gives the ball to Sven Botman, and he drops the ball there to Miley. Miley just drops the ball down to Livramento again, and it's Miley again, plays the ball forward, looking for Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon is fouled surely that time, is he? By Ben White, it looks like it, and it's going to be a free kick as we have 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. We're already a minute into it. At half-time, we're going to take a short break for 15 minutes, and then we'll be back for the second half. So just bear in mind that we will be back for the second half, so you don't miss any action. The ball is played by Miley, dropped back down to Livramento. Livramento drops the ball back here to Botman. Botman played across to Fabian Schär. Schär back to Botman, and it's played there now to Gimaresh. Gimaresh just trying to get away from Jorginho, looking for options available, and he decides to go across to Trippier. Trippier, that's a long ball looking for Miguel Almiron, but he's in an offside position, and it's going to be a free kick. Well, we've got a minute left of the minimum of 3 minutes stoppage time. Of course, Paul Tierney can have discretionary time of his own on if he feels that there has been additional stoppages. And the Newcastle fans, well, the one thing you'll say about the Newcastle fans is, in my opinion, are the best fans in the league. They're noisy. They fill St James's Park week in, week out. They're passionate. And, well, I think they deserve a better performance than this, than what they've been given in this first half. But still, they are behind the team, as you see the Newcastle fans there. David Raya plays the ball long, and it's looking for Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz goes up, but it rolls through to the goalkeeper, Loris Karius. Havertz can be very pleased with his first half performance. It's been a bit of a menace in that Newcastle defence. He was pulled over there by the looks of it, but the referee disagreed. And that's it. That's half-time. And goals on 17th minute, and own goals from Sven Botman on the 17th minute. And on the 23rd minute, Kai Havertz doubled the lead with a tap-in from the edge of the 6-yard box. It's been all Arsenal in the first half. And at half-time, it is Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0, and we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. Welcome back, folks. Second half is about to get underway with the Arsenal team now making their way out onto the field. Just a couple of comments in the comment section. Media, radio, jingles and gaming. Hello, Paul. Loving the groovy music at halftime. Thank you. Good to see you again. Hope you're enjoying the game. And Rockfall Okoth, I apologise if I've not pronounced that right. So sweet. I think it's always good to play a little bit of music at half-time, isn't it? It's I think otherwise if there's just a crowd noise, it's not quite the same. I think just something to keep people entertained a little bit, I guess. The Arsenal team are now gathering in a circle at the moment. We're just waiting for Newcastle and see what... I see they come now. There's Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall. I do wonder what Eddie Howe has said to his team at half-time. With Arsenal playing like that in the first half, definitely Newcastle do need to make changes. Now, from what I can see, there's no substitutions made at half-time. So Newcastle will get the game underway for the second half, and we're just waiting for Paul Tierney now to blow his whistle, and we can get the second half underway here at the Emirates. As there's still some of the crowd making their way back to their seats as Newcastle get the second half underway, attacking the goal to our right. And there's Bukayo Saka just wins the ball. He dropped it back to Ben White. It now goes out of play. We'll just run you through the teams. David Raya, Jacob Kiwior, Gabriel, William Saliba, Ben White, Jorginho, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli, Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka is your Arsenal lineup. For Newcastle, Loris Karius, Tino Livramento, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, Lewis Miley, Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak and Miguel Almiron. No changes by either side at the half. We have a couple of comments in the comment section. Media, radio, jingles and gaming said they play music at stadiums at half-time for entertainment. Yeah, I think it helps. That's my opinion on it anyway, but it's just my opinion. And here is Martinelli. Martinelli just drops the ball to Jacob Kiwior. Now he's midway inside his own half of the field. And here's Martinelli. Gives the ball to Gabriel, and Gabriel goes all the way back to David Raya inside the Arsenal goal. He launches it long to the right-hand side. Ambitious ball, but really good ball. Finds Bukayo Saka. And now Bukayo Saka moves into the middle, and he gives the ball to Gabriel Martinelli, and it's played through to... Oh, he pulls it wide. Oh, what a chance for Kai Havertz for his second goal. Oh, my goodness me. It was a brilliant Arsenal move once again. Bukayo Saka just slid the ball through to Martinelli. It looked onside to me. It looked good. A really beautiful slide rule pass by Martinelli through to Kai Havertz. One-on-one with Karius, and he just puts it the wrong side of the post. I just wonder whether Arsenal may live to regret missing that chance. That is a golden opportunity. And Jacob Kiwior now gets the ball back in his own half of the field. And he just drops it back now to Gabriel. Gabriel plays the ball forward there to Declan Rice. Declan Rice is trying to skip away there from Sean Longstaff. But there's Miley. Miley plays the ball into the middle, and here's Isak now with a chance. Isak just pulled away from the goalkeeper. But the chance seems to have bypassed him now. And Arsenal get back and shield out Isak. And now Arsenal coming forward on the break. It's Kai Havertz. And Newcastle just for a second there Isak was just trying to go around the goalkeeper. He may have been better shooting. It allowed time for Arsenal to get men back. And here's Kai Havertz. Martinelli down the left-hand side for Arsenal. He plays the ball into the middle and he finds Jorginho, and it's now Martinelli. Gives the ball to Gabriel and back to Jakub Kiwior. And Kiwior gives the ball to Gabriel. Nice ball there to Jorginho. Arsenal just again allowed to just play the type of football they're looking for. And Jorginho plays a beautiful ball across to White. And White is claiming handball. The referee said no. And now Newcastle can come forward on the break. And it's Anthony Gordon. He's got Isak in the middle. Anthony Gordon, corner in the penalty area, left-hand side. Gordon with a shot. And it's a good job David Raya held on there because had he spilled that ball, Isak was waiting. But that is a really good move by Newcastle. Best football they've played in the entire game. Good work by David Raya there, just getting across, making the save and keeping a hold of it because Isak was lurking and so was Longstaff. It's cleared forward by Raya. It's the first shot on target at all in this game for Newcastle, and it's taken them 48 minutes. And there is Eddie Howe. That'll give the Newcastle fans some hope. Jakub Kiwior plays a long throw forward, but that's comfortably won by Fabian Schär, and he gives the ball to his central defensive partner Sven Botman. Botman to Lewis Miley, down to Anthony Gordon on that left-hand side. Anthony Gordon, Newcastle now coming forward, hoping to create some chances of their own. Livramento, Miley, back to Livramento, and it's with Botman. He gives the ball across the centre line to Fabian Schär. He gives the ball down the right-hand side to Kieran Trippier. Longstaff. Oh, it's a poor ball by Longstaff. He was looking for Miguel Almiron, but it did bounce to Guimaraes, and he plays a long cross across the penalty area to Anthony Gordon. Now over on the left-hand side, Gordon gets into the penalty area. Oh, super challenge by Jorginho. Just stopping Gordon there from getting the cross in or a shot. That is really well done, and he had to get it right because if he had got it wrong, that would have been a penalty. Here's Fabian Schär. Gives the ball to Sven Botman. Botman across to Livramento. This has been an exciting game. And Newcastle are coming out in the second half looking very much a different team. And that's Lewis Miley. Drops it back to Botman, to Livramento, and he goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. And it's cleared by Karius downfield. And the header is won there by Gabriel. And it was flicked on, and it's going to be, there's a whistle here by Paul Tierney. Not exactly sure what it's for. But he just seemed to stop play for a moment. And just take a look at what that might be for. It's probably for the foul there, actually, by Gabriel on Isak. A free kick inside the centre circle, just inside the Arsenal half of the field. And it's going to be taken by Sven Botman. Botman will launch the ball forward. Just looking for... Well, he does decide to go to the penalty area. I was wondering whether he was going to go long, and it's cleared away by Jakub Kiwior. And it wasn't really the best free kick. And here's Botman again. He goes long, this time looking for Anthony Gordon. And good work getting across that was Jorginho. And now Arsenal on the break with Martin Odegaard down the right-hand side. Odegaard drops it back to Declan Rice, to Jorginho. Off goes Ben White down the right. Ben White gives it back to Jorginho. Jorginho to Bukayo Saka. And across back to Jorginho. And here's Martinelli now getting into the penalty area on the left-hand side. Oh, it's a poor cross in by Martinelli. And then he fouls Miguel Almiron in the process. And that is a really poor ball. And it was a comfortable piece of defending. Didn't really have to do a lot there, did Schär. He just sort of dropped the ball there to Miguel Almiron, and then Martinelli fouled Almiron. You're listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. And Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1 And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/the commentary hub. And the ball is played forward. And well, you know, if you haven't already, if you're a subscriber of the Commentary Hub and you haven't subscribed to our partner channels, please feel free to do so. They are JB Sports, Storm FM, and Focus on Football. And you can see the Arsenal fans in fine settle right now, making a lot of noise. And they definitely have had a bit of a tougher go of it in the second half. Newcastle have made a better go of it, and it's a free kick to be taken by Declan Rice. Over to the right-hand side to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka plays the ball to Jorginho, midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. It's now with Gabriel. He gives the ball to Martinelli. Martinelli drops the ball back to Gabriel. And Jorginho lays it off to Gabriel one more time. Looking for options, Jorginho. He lifts the ball over to the left-hand side. And chasing that down is Jacob Kiwior. And Jacob Kiwior clashed into Kieran Trippier, but the ball went out of play. And it's going to be a throw into Newcastle right by their own corner flag on their right-hand side. 2-0 to Arsenal at the moment. And Newcastle, well, just trying to make a better go of it in the second half. Kai Havertz, been a good performance by him. He got the second goal, and for Havertz, that is his sixth goal of the season in the Premier League this season. The ball is played out to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon now gets to the corner of the penalty area on the left-hand side. He drops it back to Miley, back to Gordon, to Guimaraes, back to Gordon, but that's a good piece of defending by Ben White. Arsenal really have defended very, very well when they've needed to. And it's Gabriel Martinelli now, and it's laid off to Jorginho, but Jorginho can't beat the second man, and now Newcastle couldn't come on the break. And it's Miguel Almiron. He drops it back now to Kieran Trippier. Trippier gives the ball here to Miley. Miley to Isak. Isak drops the ball to Almiron. It's just a bit far away from him, but the Paraguayan goes back and gets it back. And Kieran Trippier now crosses the ball in, but it's all the way over to the far side on the left, and Anthony Gordon cannot bring that under control, and he runs it out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in to the Arsenal on that left-hand side for Arsenal. On the right-hand side, I should say, for Arsenal. And a frustrated-looking Eddie Howe just barking out some orders. 10 minutes gone in this second half. Arsenal 2, Newcastle United 0. And it's Declan Rice who plays the ball forward. And it's picked up here by Kieran Trippier, who drops it back there to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär back to Trippier. Over the halfway line. And he gives the ball to Miguel Almiron. Almiron to Longstaff. Back to Trippier. Trippier just looking at the options available. He finds Miley. Miley gives the ball to Trippier. Longstaff. Miley. Patient build-up by Newcastle now. Let's see what they can do with it. Let's see if they can create something. And it's Guimaraes now. Gives the ball to Almiron. Almiron. Back to Schär. And it's now Trippier again. Guimaraes just looking for space in front of him. Outside the boot, pass to Isak. It's now with Miley. Across to Livramento. Back to Botman. Patient build-up here by Newcastle. Really good play by them today. When they're playing like this, it's always interesting to watch. Newcastle are a very, very good team. Once they're on their game, once they're playing well. And they've been so inconsistent this season, but there's a long ball by Botman, and it just goes through to the goalkeeper, David Raya. We've had another comment in the comment section, Mike Harneman. This is so much more like it. Atmosphere is matching the intensity. The only thing is Havertz should have scored again, so we should be out of sight by now. Well, Mike, I think you probably should have been out of sight by half time, to be honest. Kai Havertz had a couple of chances. He's got one, but Arsenal at the moment as well are just playing such good football. And they're making it very difficult for Newcastle. Newcastle have definitely played a lot better themselves in the second half. The ball is played forward to Bukayo Saka, and he's not able to keep that in play as it's shielded out of play by Sven Botman, and it's going to be a goal kick. Arsenal, well, next up for Arsenal after this, it's Sheffield United, Brentford and Chelsea. For Newcastle, they of course have Wolverhampton Wanderers, Chelsea and Crystal Palace. So big games coming up for both teams. The ball is cleared downfield, and Arsenal have picked up the ball with Jorginho, and he just goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, and David Raya just clears the ball downfield. Now, for Newcastle, of course, it's been quite a while since they've won at Arsenal, and it's actually been 7th of November 2010, the last time Newcastle have won at Arsenal. It was 1-0 that day, as that is a free kick to Newcastle. Jorginho holding up Guimaraes there. With a comment in the comment section, that second goal was immense football, absolutely. And this is the way that Arsenal have been playing. So quick at building up. And here's Saka now. And Saka plays the ball over the top, looking for Kai Havertz down the left-hand side, but that ball rolls out of play. It's a poor ball by Saka that time. But yes, Arsenal, when the build-up play has been amazing, and every time Newcastle have got the ball, they really have done well to shut them down as best as possible. But we'll see if Newcastle now, maybe they've got a little bit of newfound confidence in this second half with the way that they've played too. The ball is long, and it's headed by Ben White to Bukayo Saka. Saka gives the ball to Kyria just inside his own half of the field. It's now Gabriel. Gabriel inside the centre circle. He drops the ball to Jacob Kyria. Kyria now going down the left-hand side, gives it to Martinelli. And back to Jacob Kyria as we are almost at the hour mark here. And it is still 2-0 to the Gunners. Be a vital victory if they do hold on to this one. And the ball is played forward. It comes off. Goes back into the Arsenal half of the field, and Gabriel drops it back to David Raya. Raya clears the ball downfield. Is Jorginho. Jorginho plays the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard to Bukayo Saka. Saka just tried to squeeze the ball through two Newcastle players, but Livramento wins the ball back and gives the ball to Sven Botman, who drops it back to Karius, who clears the ball downfield. Up in the air to win that header is Alexander Isak, knocked on by Gordon, but Bukayo Saka lifts the ball back into the Newcastle half of the field. On the pressure is Botman. He heads it down to Livramento. Livramento to Miley. Miley drops it back to Sven Botman. And Mike says 2 points between the top if we hang on or extend the lead. That's right. Still third place, mind you, a point behind Manchester City with their victory today. But if Arsenal keep playing like this, they still have Manchester City to play, and you just never know. And here's Guimaraes. She drops the ball to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball forward, dropped off by Lewis Miley. And that's a long ball by Guimaraes. A superb pass to Alexander Isak, right to the feet. Isak, left-hand side, corner of the penalty area. Here's Isak with a shot. And it's just over the crossbar. And he looked frustrated with himself, but that was good football by Newcastle. Just in the end, the finish wasn't quite there. That pass from Guimaraes right to the feet of Alexander Isak. He just turned away there from Jorginho, and it was just over the crossbar. But what a chance that was. He'll be disappointed he didn't hit the target. Ball is cleared long downfield with David Raya. And it's picked up by Kieran Trippier inside his own half of the field. He gives the ball to Ben Botman on the edge of his own penalty area. Botman just looking for what's available. He gives the ball to Schär. And Trippier almost gave the ball to Martinelli then. He heads it back to Schär, who clears the ball downfield, but Kyria wins the header. Declan Rice tries to bring the ball down, but he only finds Fabian Schär. And here's Sven Botman. Botman plays the ball forward, laid off by Lewis Miley. And he gives the ball to Tino Livramento. Mike says perfect time for us to come into form. We've got Spurs to play still too. Yes, big games coming up for Arsenal. Spurs being one of them. throw into Arsenal, as we're going to see a double substitution for Newcastle now. Jacob Murphy is coming on, just not quite sure who the other guy is. Also, Trossard is coming on as well for Arsenal, not surprised to see that. Gabriel Martinelli is coming off. So that's the first roll of the dice for Mikel Arteta. Gabriel Martinelli off. Leandro Trossard on. Just looking to see who the other guy is that's coming on for Newcastle United. Leandro Trossard, really quite surprised he wasn't playing up front today in the number 10 role. Jacob Murphy comes on and Isak and Almiron come off. It's not been a great day for either of those two, to be perfectly honest. Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes are on for Newcastle. So Barnes and Murphy on, Isak and Almiron off for Newcastle, Martinelli off for Arsenal, Trossard on. The ball is now with Jorginho, plays the ball forward and looking for Ben White and headed on, but it just seems to fall nicely to Lewis Miley. And now Lewis Miley just drops the ball back into his own half to Sven Botman. City play Liverpool 2-2, so that's a huge game in the title race. So yes, I mean, it could go either way really. And here come Arsenal now with Martin Odegaard. That's a nice layoff by Declan Rice. Here's Havertz down to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka into the penalty area now. Bukayo Saka, that's brilliant! Oh, that's brilliant by Bukayo Saka. That is absolutely first class by the England international. What a finish! And Arsenal are 3-0 up, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. 64 minutes gone, and Bukayo Saka scores the goal to put this game to bed. And well, Bukayo Saka, that was a quality finish. And I don't know where you get your football highlights from, but please take the time to watch this goal tonight, because it truly was magnificent. Havertz laid it off to Bukayo Saka. He turns away from Livramento, inside out, and curls it into the bottom right-hand corner to make it 3-0 to the Gunners. And Gary Williams says, great goal. And Mike Harneman says, and people say he's not world class. Indeed, Mike. People who say he's not world class know nothing about football, in my opinion. Gary Williams also adds, he makes it look so easy. Indeed, he does, Gary. Indeed, he does, because that really was absolutely first class. And that is the 13th goal of the season in the Premier League for Bukayo Saka, and that is a wonderful moment as he continues to score, and it's going to benefit England in the long run in the Euros as well, of course, because he takes this type of form into the Euros. And it's going to be a throw-in for Arsenal here, taken quickly by Ben White, headed on by Declan Rice, and it's offside. So it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle, 3-0. Looks like that long wait for a win at Arsenal for Newcastle is going to continue. With 66 minutes gone, it is Arsenal 3, Newcastle 0. And the ball is played forward and headed out of play by Jacob Kiwior. And the throw-in is going to be taken there by Jacob Murphy. He leaves it instead. And it may be Kieran Trippier that's going to take this throw-in. As we take a look at Bukayo Saka, what a superb goal that was. If you're just listening and you watch the football highlights later on, please do watch it. It really is a quality goal. You won't regret it. And the ball is played forward there by Jacob Murphy, but it goes out of play for a goal kick. And we have 23 minutes left, and you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. And Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports, Storm FM, and Focus on Football. And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1. And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. That's my marketing duties done for the day. Gary Williams said Newcastle were just playing a bit more football before that goal. You're right, Gary, they were. They were certainly playing better in this second half than they were in the first and looked a bit more confident. And Bukayo Saka there has taken care of that. And here's Leandro Trossard. He tries to get the cross in, but that's a good block by Botman. And it goes out for a corner to Arsenal. And Leandro Trossard will probably go over and take that himself. Declan Rice wants to take it though, so it will be Declan Rice that's going to take it. 3-0 to the Arsenal as we go into the last 22 minutes. Newcastle haven't had a single corner in the whole game. This is the 8th corner for Arsenal in this game today. And it's Declan Rice. And inside that penalty area there is Gabriel, Kiwior, and Leandro Trossard are all in there. It's swung in and it's just headed behind there by Fabian Schär for another Arsenal corner. Might have in fact been Jacob Murphy that got on the end of that. And Declan Rice is going to take the corner again. Maybe get a bit more height on it. Arsenal surrounding Loris Karius as well. And the cross comes in, it's flicked on, and it's in there! And I'm not quite sure who got the final touch, but it's 4-0. And if it wasn't over at 3, it's definitely over at 4. And, well, again, the cross came in, and I'm just not quite sure who got the touch there. But it ended up in the back of the net, and it may be Jacob Kiwior. But we'll just take a look at it one more time. And the corner this time by Declan Rice was certainly a better one. We'll take a look at it now. Declan Rice. And it's flicked on by Kiwior, and it's an error, really, it has to be said, by the goalkeeper. It is Kiwior's goal, but it's probably one Karius should have saved. Did Saliba get a touch? No. Oh, yes, it's definitely one Karius should have saved. It's Jacob Kiwior's goal on 69 minutes to make it 4-0. We've got a couple of comments in the comment section. As a neutral, I thought Botman and Newcastle were unfortunate for the first goal, though. Yes, actually, the own goal by Sven Botman, yes, it was just a bit of pinball, wasn't it, in the Newcastle penalty area. And it just ended up bouncing off the shin of Sven Botman. And that is very, very unfortunate for him. Otherwise, he's generally not done too badly tonight. But Jacob Kiwior's goal for an error by Loris Karius, really, that should have been kept out by the Newcastle goalkeeper. And at 4-0, this game is, well, pretty much done and dusted. But at the same time, we've just seen some brilliant football by Arsenal. And the ball is now played to Jacob Murphy. Murphy plays the ball long over on the far side. That's a really, really good ball. And it's Lewis Miley just getting into the penalty area. Just not able to, brings it down to the edge of the area to Livramento, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. And it's now played back to Lewis Miley. Miley launches the ball in the penalty area looking for Almiron. And he gets a head on that, but it goes right across. It wasn't Almiron, I apologise. It was Harvey Barnes there, not Almiron. And here is Sven Botman. And he gives the ball to Fabian Schär. Kiwior has been outstanding at left back. Got to give Arteta credit for that masterstroke. Actually, Mike, he has been, hasn't he? He's been very good today, and especially getting forward as well. I always tend to like Zinchenko a little better because he does get forward a lot than Zinchenko. But at the same time, Jacob Kiwior has really fulfilled that role today in really, really spectacular way. He's been outstanding. As all of these Arsenal players have been today. 4-0. The free kick now for Newcastle United. Longstaff getting in there. Guimaraes getting in there. Kieran Trippier is going to whip it in. As we have 18 minutes left to go. A double substitution coming along for Newcastle. Triple substitution, in fact. Joe Willock, Dan Burn, and Jamal Lascelles are coming on. Joe Willock, Dan Burn, and Jamal Lascelles. Let's see who is coming off. Guimaraes, of course, the first. Willock coming on for Guimaraes. And are they going to make the other two at this time? Dan Burn is on. Not quite sure. Oh, Livramento has gone off as well. And we're just going to see who the third substitution is coming on for Lascelles. And it's Ben Botman. So the unfortunate Sven Botman today is going off. So let's review these substitutes again. Joe Willock, Dan Burn, and Jamal Lascelles are on. Livramento, Botman, and Guimaraes are off for Newcastle. With 17 minutes to go. Third, he's been outstanding in every game. I think referring to Kiwior, the attendance today is 60,298 inside the Emirates Stadium. The free kick is taken by Trippier, and it is far too close to David Raya, who clears the ball downfield and hits Paul Tierney in the back. And I think the referee is going to stop play because of that. And Tierney could not get out of the way there of the ball kick by David Raya. The free kick swung in, and he just wanted to release it quickly, perhaps to get Saka off or Leandro Trossard. But as it stands, it hit the referee, and now here's Kiwior. Plays the ball forward to Trossard. Trossard drops the ball back there to Gabriel, and Gabriel goes back to the goalkeeper, David Raya, and he plays the ball downfield. Can Arsenal get a fifth and win 5-0 for the second week in a row? 9 goals in 2 games. This is free scoring from Arsenal. I mean, they already have, at the moment, Arsenal already have a 2.32 goals for average. Goals per game average, 2.32. It's just huge. And now Arsenal are making a triple substitution. It looks like Eddie Nketiah, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Reece Nelson are coming on. And Odegaard is going off for Smith-Rowe. And Odegaard, he's not had his best game today, but he's still won some important battles in the midfield. He's heading off now as Emile Smith-Rowe is coming on. Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson are also there. Odegaard just taking his time to wander off the pitch at 4-0. I don't think anybody's going to complain. Bukayo Saka, wonderful performance by him today. They really had to put 3 men on him to try to stop him, and still wasn't successful. He comes off right now, and Kai Havertz is the other one coming off as well. Had a good game. Havertz for Nketiah and Saka for Reece Nelson. So let's review this triple substitution. Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and Emile Smith-Rowe are on for Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz, and Bukayo Saka. 15 minutes to go at the Emirates. And there is Declan Rice. Not Declan Rice. There is Mikel Arteta. And he's got to be very, very pleased with his performance as Reece Nelson launches the ball long forward to Nketiah. Nketiah heads it down to Emile Smith-Rowe. And it's now with Nelson again, back to Smith-Rowe. Oh, that's a good win by Lewis Miley there. Picks up the ball. And here is, on the ball there, it's Jacob Murphy. Murphy just drops the ball back there to the number 2, Kieran Trippier. Here's Dan Burn. Burn drops it back to Lascelles. And now, moving forward now is Willock. Joe Willock, and he plays it down the left-hand side to Livramento. Livramento trying to get the cross in, and it's not Livramento. I'm sorry, that was Harvey Barnes who launched that cross in, not Livramento. I apologise. And Arsenal 4, Newcastle 0, with 13 minutes to go. Gary Williams says Arteta has done a great job improving the team and style of play every season. Fair play to the Arsenal board for sticking with him. And yes, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And Mike is an Arsenal fan in the chat too, and I know that that's something that Mike agrees with. He's certainly developing something very special here at the Emirates. Cleared downfield by David Raya. And here's Jacob Murphy now under pressure. Tries to play the ball forward, and Dan Burn is chasing this one down. Gabriel clears the ball. And it's now Emil Smith-Rowe. He loses it, and it's Willock now for Newcastle United. Joe Willock on the halfway line. He's looking for options available, and he decides to drop it back there to Miley. And just over on the far side there is Harvey Barnes again. Dan Burn. Dan Burn is challenged there by Reece Nelson. That's a good challenge. And here's Jorginho. Drops it back. And Reece Nelson just gives it all the way back to Ben White. Ben White just clears the ball. And it's picked up again by Nelson, but it's lost that time. And also Mike agrees with you there, Gary. Here is Burn. Burn gives the ball there to Miley. Miley drops it back. And it's now with Dan Burn in the middle of the park. Dan Burn now just looking for options available. He's going down the right-hand side into the corner. Dan Burn is being forced there, and Leandro Trossard does win the ball back. And Eddie Nketiah challenging at the back as well. And Gabriel just clearing the ball downfield, only as far as Lascelles. And it's now with Miley. Miley drops the ball back into the midfield. And Mike said he's very impressed with his selections and substitutions. Here's Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles just gives the ball here to Trippier. And in about 10 minutes' time, I'll be announcing my player of the match. Not quite sure. I've got a couple of options in mind. It's a challenging one, I dare say. It's a free kick now to Arsenal. Called a foul by Lewis Miley. And bar the Porto game, which was a freak result that happens to every team, we've been nigh on perfect. I agree, that was a strange one, wasn't it, Mike? But there's every chance he'll turn that round in the second leg. Here's Gabriel. And it's a free kick to Arsenal, which is going to be taken by David Raya. Just being informed by my producer, Nick, that here's Emil Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe tries to get the shot away, but it's blocked. And just cleared away there by Lewis Miley out in touch. Just being informed by my producer that the reason Havertz left the field is because he's injured. Now, I don't know how serious that injury is, but he is off the field because of that reason. Here's Jacob Kiwior with a throw and gives it to Declan Rice. Here's Kiwior again. It's back to Gabriel. Gabriel dropped back there to William Saliba, and he goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, which is David Raya. He launches the ball downfield. Jamal Lascelles gets a header on that. And it's tried to be won there by Joe Willock, but it's a free kick to Arsenal. And 9 minutes to go here. As I have a think about who my player of the match is going to be today. I've got it in my mind, actually, who I think it's going to be. I can think of one or two names. It's between two players, and I'll make that announcement closer to the 90th minute mark. The ball is played forward now there to Joe Willock. Willock just cutting inside, and he gives the ball to Lewis Miley. It's now with Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles to Trippier. Trippier hands the ball back to Lascelles. And Michael just said, we're the first team ever in the English Premier League to score 2 goals in 7 consecutive halves of football. And here's Harvey Barnes now. Drops it back to Lewis Miley. Miley plays the ball forward, but Declan Rice gets in the way of that. And here's Emil Smith-Rowe putting Miley under pressure. He drops the ball back there, does Miley. And it's then picked up by Fabian Schär. And again, Fabian Schär plays the ball forward to Trippier, and Trippier knocks it all the way back to the goalkeeper. And he gives the ball to Fabian Schär again. And it's now played across the penalty area to Jamal Lascelles. Lascelles, and it's with Trippier again, who's almost going to be challenged there, but Eddie Nketiah does get a foot in there. The ball goes out of play for a throw into Newcastle. Gary Williams said obviously Declan Rice was a great buy, but also Jorginho seems to be playing well again. And Mike said league game obviously doesn't include Wednesday. Yeah. Jorginho's had a good game today as well. They all have really. They've all played very, very well. They've made it very difficult for Newcastle all the way through the game. And David Ray clears the ball downfield, and it's headed out of play by Kieran Trippier. The throw-in is taken quickly by Jacob Kiwior, and he drops the ball back there to Gabriel. Gabriel plays the ball forward now to Leandro Trossard. Trossard just trying to get away from Trippier. Good work by Trossard, but a good challenge by Jacob Murphy, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. And here's Leandro Trossard again, cutting across the line of the penalty area. See now, he finds Jorginho, and it's Eddie Nketiah, or Reece Nelson, I should say. And it's Reece Nelson again. Plays the ball forward to Ben White, and he is dispossessed that time, but Ben White wins the ball back, but it's won back by Joe Willock, and he drops it back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball forward, and over the halfway line now is Harvey Barnes. Barnes tries to play the ball through, and it's picked up by Anthony Gordon, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. It's Harvey Barnes overlapping now, gets across it, and there's the header, and it's in. And it's a goal back, and it's Joe Willock. And that is a really superb finish by Joe Willock, the substitute. And the clean sheet is gone for Arsenal, but it's merely a consolation. Joe Willock with a header, it loops over David Raya and into the corner of the net. As we just take a look at this again, you can see here that the cross from Anthony Gordon, the cross rather from Harvey Barnes, and Joe Willock's header, they didn't pick him up. He just diverted that header past the goalkeeper, David Raya, and it's a fine finish, it has to be said, but it is merely a consolation at this point. Mike says Rice and Jorginho is a midfield two that I didn't think I'd love as much as I do, but they complement each other so well. Gary Williams said beautiful goal, took it so well. It was a beautiful finish by Joe Willock on 84 minutes. And it is in the back of the net. And, well, it's certainly a good performance all round by Arsenal today. They weren't able to keep the clean sheet, though. That is a really nice diverted header into the corner. And here's Dan Burns. And he gives it to Joe Willock again. Newcastle coming forward, looking for a second goal. And the ball is played to Harvey Barnes. And it's now Dan Burns. Can he keep that ball in play? He can't. He runs it out. And we'll be announcing the player of the match here in about 4 minutes' time. As Jorginho is flat on his back. He looks in a lot of pain. I'm just wondering if it's cramp. Yes, it looks like it is. Ben White and Emil Smith-Rowe just going over there to try to deal with that. I think at this point, I don't think anybody can make any complaints about time wasting, as the Newcastle fans still buoyant, still loud, still enjoying themselves, even though it's such a long trip from Newcastle to London today. But they seem to be still enjoying themselves despite being 4-1 down to the Arsenal today. As we're just going to see, are we going to see another substitution here? It's just difficult to tell from over there. They've got the board up. Yes, it's going to be another Arsenal substitution that'll wrap up the 5 substitutes for Arsenal. It looks like it's Mohamed El Neni down there. And David Raya takes the goal kick. And the header was won by Saliba. But it's picked up there by Harvey Barnes. He gives the ball to Joe Willock. Joe Willock just cuts back and gives the ball to Jamal Lascelles, who drops it back to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball over the halfway line. The header was won by Jacob Kiwior. Kiwior just drops the ball back there to Gabriel, and he gives the ball there to the number 2, William Saliba. It's 4-1, and still got the tops off, yeah. They do that, a lot of Newcastle fans, don't they? But they really do travel well in numbers, and they make a lot of noise. Great fans all round. Still, in my opinion, the best in the country, but that's just my opinion. don't mean to offend anybody, but I actually do think Newcastle fans are the best in the country. We're going to see a substitution now as the ball is just left there by Ben White. I think it's going to be Mohamed El Neni that is coming on as the captain's armband changes again. And it's Jorginho going off. He hands the captain's armband to Gabriel. Jorginho goes off, and it looks like it's going to be Mohamed El Neni coming on for Arsenal. And Mohamed El Neni making his second appearance in the league this season. The clapping the fans and he's strolling off there is Jorginho. That means both sides now have used their full 5 substitutes. And Gary Williams said even though they brought the colder weather down, yes. Jorginho just celebrating there with some of the Arsenal coaches. Daffy really has been quite magnificent today as Jorginho. He'll be very happy with his performance. And as we have a clash here between that's Eddie Nketiah and Fabian Schär. They're both sort of getting to their feet now. And while these players are down, I'm going to name the player of the match today. And the player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services, I'm giving it to Jakub Kiwior today. He's been excellent defensively. He's been great going forward. He's got a goal. And I think Arsenal have really benefited from this performance today by Kiwior, both on an offensive and defensive display. So today's player of the match goes to Arsenal's number 15, Jakub Kiwior. Just out of interest, if anybody in the comment section would care to give their player of the match, I'll read it out for you as well. It's always nice to hear everyone's opinions on the player of the match. There could be quite a few that you can actually choose from this Arsenal team. I think Jorginho, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz even, Declan Rice, they've all played their part in what has been a magnificent performance. Here's Mohamed El Neni, plays the ball forward, and that's picked up there by Declan Rice, who launches the ball into the Newcastle half of the field. And we are inside now stoppage time, and there's going to be 5 minutes stoppage time added on here at the Emirates. And that's how long we've got left in this. Here's Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy runs the ball out of play, being chased down by Jakub Kiwior, our player of the match today. Mike says, think he deserves it for that performance in recent weeks. Could go for a few options. Yes, absolutely. You could probably pick almost any one of these Arsenal players, to be honest. But I agree with you, Mike. Jakub Kiwior, I think, deserves it. It's been really quite outstanding today. And he's taking the throw in now, almost level with the Newcastle, with his own penalty area. And it's headed back by Trippier to Kiwior. We'll get another bite of the cherry. Gary Williams says, yes, he has played well, but like you said, Paul, they've all played well. Indeed, they have. It's never an easy choice when you see a team playing this well to pick player of the match. It's one of those times I wish I had a coke on. The ball is played long by Leandro Trossard, and out of play, Eddie Nketiah is not going to reach that one. And the throw-in is going to be taken here by Kieran Trippier, as we are inside now 1.5 minutes of stoppage time. Trippier just drops the ball back. Lascelles just watches it as Karius comes out and launches it downfield, but it's headed back into the Newcastle half by Gabriel, who himself has had a wonderful game today. Gabriel gives it to Mohamed El Neni, and just nipping in there is Emil Smith-Rowe. The ball is played forward by Gabriel, looking for Leandro Trossard. There's just a bit too much on that, and it goes all the way through to Loris Karius in the Newcastle goal, who's in, of course, deputising today for Martin Dubravka, who fell ill yesterday. Here is Reece Nelson. Nelson pulls the ball across it, great place for Smith-Rowe, and it's a saver, it's off the line, but that was very close to being 5-1. And it's a corner as Lascelles gets the ball out of play. Let's take a look at this again. The ball is pulled back. It's Emil Smith-Rowe. Oh, yes, it's off the line by Dan Burns. What a fine piece of defending by the big man. Because Karius was beaten all ends up. That was nearly 5. Going to be a corner now for Arsenal, and Declan Rice is going to take it. Plays it short to Smith Rowe. Back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice across here to Reece Nelson. Nelson with a shot, and getting across and making the save was Karius as he shuts that one down. Gary Williams has been watching Ben White closely. He's not spectacular, but impressed with his calmness. He does the little things right, doesn't he, Gary? He does the small things right. He wins the ball. He makes little passes that create opportunities and openings. I think Arsenal, as strange as it may sound, I think Arsenal would not be as good a team without Ben White in it because of all the little things that he actually does. And he's played well today as well. And here's Reece Nelson. Nelson plays the ball forward, looking for Eddie Nketiah. And that's a good challenge by Fabian Schär. Eddie Nketiah not pleased with it, but yes, it goes out of play. Maybe the England manager will look at him again. Yes, why not? I think there's plenty of ability in Ben White, in my opinion. And here's Jacob Kiwior. Kiwior plays the ball forward to Emile Smith-Rowe now. Emile Smith-Rowe has got Lewis Miley breathing down his neck, but also Jamal Lascelles. Good work by Smith-Rowe, and he plays the ball to Leandro Trossard, who opts not to shoot. It's now with Declan Rice. It's Mohamed El Neni, and it's back with Reece Nelson. There's the ball on the far side to the said Ben White, and he crosses the ball in and the header by Emile Smith-Rowe, which goes wide as we are inside the last minute now. And Mike Harneman says White and Kiwior are both masterstroke from Arteta, finding them at home at full-back. And it's worked really, really well, I think, for Mikel Arteta and this Arsenal team that have been brilliant today. Newcastle have found it a tough challenge. They have played a little better in the second half, but they really have found it hard going against this Arsenal team. Here is Fabian Schär. He gives the ball to Jamal Lascelles, just over the halfway line. Lascelles gives it to Joe Willock, and the ball is laid off by Anthony Gordon, but it's given away to Declan Rice. And that's it. It is full time. Paul Tierney blows the whistle on the 5-minute mark of stoppage time. It's Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. An own goal on the 17th minute by Sven Botman. Kai Havertz doubled the lead on the 23rd minute with a tap-in from just inside the 6-yard box. On 64 minutes, Bukayo Saka had added that wonderful goal before Jacob Kiwior's header and a mistake from Loris Karius made it 4-0. A really wonderful looping header by Joe Willock made it 4-1, but it was only a consolation for the Toon. Arsenal keep the pressure now on Manchester City and Liverpool as they hold their serve here at the Emirates today. Gary Williams said, have enjoyed your commentary, Paul. Thank you, Gary. I really do appreciate your feedback there. That's very kind of you. And thanks to everyone who's commented today. Really appreciate it. It's always nice to get people commenting on these, and then we can read them out and adds a little bit of something extra to the commentary. But full time here at the Emirates, it is Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. And thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Thanks, and bye for now.